If you need to film, you need to film from over here, and I verified that with the police the other day.
No, I'm good. I can be anywhere the public can be. But I literally got to do. I want to get out of here. Is the records request ready or not?
And actually, another thing, you can't use profanity in the office.
That's not true.
That's a disruption.
It's not true, bud.
So,
it's the freedom of speech.
Okay. I think it makes good common sense if they say, hey, film, do whatever you want to do, just you can't be right here because you have access. Like,
yeah, that's not how the law works, though. Like, anywhere that's a public area, I can be in.
School grounds.
Right. And it specifically says where.
Ambiguous language.
Yeah, I mean, I would fight that all day, man. It doesn't work like that.
What's going on, Bay fam? It's your boy, Bay Area Transparency. We're back at it once again. And for this video, man, we went back to the school district that you just saw the other day. And it didn't get any better. I actually thought that they would have learned from the last time I was there and those last officers telling them that I could be there and there was nothing that they could do. But they actually went and had a meeting with the police department and got told a bunch of wrong, misleading, false information. It's unbelievable the way they act, and they did it again and again. We also get to meet the superintendent in this video, and in my opinion, we get to see why they act the way they act when we meet the superintendent. Let's go ahead and get to it. Follow us on Facebook, Bay Area Transparency Official. Follow us on Instagram, at Bay Area Transparency. Subscribe, like, share. Let's do it, baby. BAT, I'm out.
So everything should be good at that point. Oh, this is our friend here.
Hey.
Oh, there's a boardroom. Check out the boardroom too.
Yep.
Board meeting room.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello. Any word on my records request? I'm good. How about you?
Sure, I'm good, thank you.
Sometimes.
Hi, thank you for holding.
I guess she's not ready for me. Oh, my neck.
Let me get your name and information. I will see. We may have to go back into files to find
That
out
was our friend.
your name again.
It's nice. We got a totally different personality this time. It's a good thing. See, that's where the education comes in. It's a beautiful thing, right? Now there's no being mean and rude and like telling me I can't be here and that I don't have a right to be here and all these things. It's not happening today.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome back.
How's it going?
Hey, I met with the police the other day and kind of went, soup nuts over things and totally have a right to be here. But if you're going to film, I'd have to ask you to step over here just because there's a lot of confidential information over here. So if you need to film, you need to film from over here, and I verified that with the police the other day.
No, I'm good. I can be anywhere the public can be.
Well, I actually went over that with the police officer.
This was fixed.
All visitors need to sign in, so can you please sign in and state your business for us?
Oh, I don't need to sign in either. It's just not a law.
So Sean, that was the direction I just got.
Yeah.
So now he's refusing to do what we've asked.
Yeah, so no, and I totally get what you're saying, and I don't want to get into
boy.
with you, but
So
so
the police might have misinformed you because there's public restrooms back here. So I can literally go anywhere the public can go. Right?
Yeah,
but I literally, I can make it easy on you, I literally just came to see if my public records request was ready or not.
Okay.
And then I'm out of here. But if you want, I'll stay. I mean, I can hang out.
Yeah, no, you can stay, but I have to ask you to just stand over there.
No, that's what I'm saying. I can go, like if I want to, I can go anywhere the public can go.
Okay, but
and I'll confirm, the police can confirm that. There's a public restroom back there. I can be all here.
And I understand that, but what I'm pointing out is you filming when there's information and there's stuff up on the screen that's confidential, then that's an issue because you're recording confidential information.
I'm not. The onus is on you to protect the confidential information, and I'm not here for the confidential information either.
Just turn everything over, turn the screens
on. I'm literally not going to record your desk. I'm just asking if my thing's ready.
We're actually working on the process and kind of getting everybody ramped up.
So more days or?
I'm sorry?
More days for the... I'm just asking if my records request is ready. That's all I'm here for.
Yeah,
like I said, I'll stay and record you guys for hours if you want, but I literally got to do. I want to get out of here.
Yeah,
So is the records request ready or not?
And actually, another thing, you can't use profanity in the office.
That's not
because
true.
That's a disruption.
It's not true, bud.
So,
It's the freedom of
anyways,
speech.
okay, so,
I would have thought they would have taught you better. They're wrong. So the sign-in is, we don't have to, I mean, it's just not a law.
No,
So.
that's not a law, that's for safety in case there's like a fire, so we know who's in the building.
Right, but because it's not a law, I don't have to comply with it. See what I'm saying? It's not against the law for me to not sign
I
in.
understand your idea of the law, I just wanted to let you know like what our policy is to understand what we got going on.
Okay.
But thank you.
So maybe they can tell me if my stuff's ready or not, and I can just wiggy out. Clearly, they haven't learned their lesson. I would have thought they would have learned their lesson, but they haven't. And the police gave them the wrong information, right? The police told them that I have to sign in because because they have like a security reasons, and it's just not true.
Reason in case there's a situation where we have to evacuate the building.
That's security. Yeah, and it literally says right here, for security reasons. Right? So, unfortunately, that's not true. Well, fortunately, that's not true. We don't have to give our name. We don't have to give our name to be enter a public building, right? You don't have to give up your Fourth Amendment right to enter a public building. So, I'm just trying to see if my request is done or not. Like, they could literally just say, yes, it's done, here it is, or no, it's not, and then I'm out of here. They're literally wanting to keep me here for some reason. And what it is they're still trying to exhibit some sort of authority that they don't have. It's an ego, right? That's why she laughs about it, because it's true, right? So is it ready or not? Okay, and it is October 4th at about 12:18 in the afternoon. The dude even just said I can't use a curse word in here because it's disruptive to business. Like, can you guys just tell me if my records request is ready or needs time? I'm literally trying to leave, man. It's like crazy. They're gonna cover the door, which is a fire code hazard. Like, this is the crazy part about it. Instead of just telling me, hey, your records request is not ready, we need more time, and I would leave, or saying it is ready and here you go, and then I could leave, they're keeping me here and they're calling the police again. And it doesn't make any sense. I just don't understand it. And we would be done. But it's literally just doesn't make any sense to me. So,
Jonathan, if you wouldn't mind, could you
they're calling me Jonathan.
public records request once again?
You guys don't remember it?
No, why don't we get that
shit.
in writing for you so that we can turn that around for you?
And then we can go
Hi,
ahead and get that done.
I'm Todd. I'm the superintendent.
How's it going, man?
Hey, good. How are you?
Yeah, if you guys want to take it verbally, I gave it verbally. They're supposed to remember it. You guys have the 10 days, so the law says verbally or written.
Yeah. Well, then if you know what, why don't you write down what he's asking for? That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, they could have just said it's not ready, and I would have been gone, man. I'm not trying to be here today. I literally have stuff I have to do. But
Well, you know what? I don't believe anybody had that in writing on Friday, so why don't we get it in writing?
Okay, do you want to write it down?
I don't need you to direct me on how to take it. You can
I didn't direct you. I said, did you want to write it down? I don't want you to forget it.
I won't forget, I guarantee. Is there
Okay, cool. That's fine with me too.
Okay.
As long as I convert, I'm just gonna verbalize it.
Got it.
Easy as that, bro. Ready? All right. I want your first and last name, work days, work hours, your salary. All three of the ladies that were in here.
okay, that's cool. Yeah, so all the names of the people that were here, names, work days, work hours, salaries, any emails, school district emails, and school district phone numbers that are assigned by the school district. So, for instance, if you guys pay for like your cell phone, that number, because it's a public record. And that's it, man.
Names,
Cool.
work hours, salaries, emails, positions.
Yep.
And so we do have the 10 days to get that out.
Yeah.
And we send it to you in writing.
Emails and no, I'll be back in 10 days to get it.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
That was it.
All
Yep. Thank you.
You have a good day.
You too. That was simple. That was simple. That could have just happened initially. So I'll wait for the police this time just so I can talk to them and ask why they told these people that they can confine me to this area and that people have to sign in. So like I said, I literally have stuff to do. I was not trying to be here. Hey, what's up, man? I stayed and waited to talk to you. I'm trying to get the hell out of here, but I was just coming to check on my records request. And then apparently they had a meeting with somebody in your guys' office, and those people told them that they could confine me to a certain area.
Well, yeah, so let me explain a little bit. Like, their concern is, and I've only been in here a few times. I have to check the configuration of the lobby. They just don't want to be working on anything where, like, their computer, they have kids' records and stuff like that, and they just want to make sure that that stuff's protected.
Right. Which is on them to protect. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, you know, in that scenario, if there is access to where you could film and you know, see a computer and whatnot, I think it makes good common sense if they say, hey, film, do whatever you want to do, just you can't be right here because you have access. Like,
yeah, but that's not how the law works, though. Like, anywhere that's a public area, I can be in, and that's what I was. So they have. If you want to look at the lobby, I'll show you. It goes here, and then all the way back, it goes to a public restroom. So in that hallway, I can be, even if there's a computer. But I told them I'm not here to film your computer.
Right.
I'm just checking on my records request. So
understood. So did they have the records request? Did they?
No, they needed to take it again for some reason because they said they didn't have it. And then I guess somebody told them I couldn't use a curse word in there. It's illegal for me to use a curse word.
Well, it's not illegal. Honestly, it's just good.
And I get that, but he's under the impression that it's illegal and I can't do it because it's disrupting business. And there's no crime to use a curse word, man. It's protected speech.
Absolutely, it is.
Cool.
Now, we do get into a gray area as far as, you know, their articulation of you disrupting a business that's, you know, open to the public, understood. But if your behavior gets to the point to where they can't conduct their normal business, then we may have a different bridge that we have to cross.
That I actually agree with.
That is up to them to articulate to us, and then we got to figure it out.
That I actually agree with, but me having a camera and speaking with them isn't going to be it, you know. It would never work like that. But now if I'm in there yelling and screaming and going off, yeah, I agree with that, and I wouldn't do it. So,
absolutely.
But other than that, and I guess there's a sign-in sheet. They think that is against the law if you don't sign in. There's just no law that says that. So.
Well, so understand that we're in a weird dynamic here because this is the middle school campus. The administration office happens to be on the middle school campus.
It's separate, yeah.
And then there is a law, if you are on the middle school campus grounds, there is a law in place that says you have to check in.
Yeah, 628, 626.9 or 628, 6.8. Yeah, I know it.
So there's
but it also states in that law that there has to be kids in that building that go to school, and there's none. This is literally their admin.
I'm not arguing.
And I wouldn't even go over there.
Right.
So.
And I'm not arguing about that building.
Cool.
So I'm just here to keep the peace.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I told them, they held me here for a while. I said, I'm literally here just to check on my records request. If you guys don't have it, I'm out of here. Okay. And they wanted to call you guys. So I said, well, I'll wait around. I'm not going to run from you.
So just so you know, they actually talked to the school resource officer. I happened to be on the phone with him. I was about to go grab lunch. I decided to put you in the lobby.
You interrupted your lunch.
You know, come make sure everything.
All good. Can we look at the lobby real quick so I can show you what I'm talking about as far as being able to stand in there? Okay, just as long as we're clear. I think they need to be clear that it's a public lobby and there's public restrooms in the back. So anywhere in that hallway we can be, computers, papers, or not. The onus is on you to protect the information. Right. Out of respect, I'm not trying to film your computers, but you guys do have to protect that information. Not me. I can film in there. Period. It's the First Amendment.
And I've introduced myself to the lobby.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, one thing I do want to share.
Sorry, I can't. You're quiet. Can't hear you.
Sorry. One of the things I do want to share with you is we do see it as a disruption to the environment. If there's profane language that is being used, and it's just not appropriate for our space as well. You know, folks have to get their job done. So we just ask anybody that enters the space, follows through with the directions that we've established to make it a functional environment. Part of that is to make sure that we understand what somebody's visit is asking for. For example, your request for public records.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we want to make sure we capture that. So we have it. We'll work on that for you. All right.
Or literally just to record, right? Like even if I didn't want records and I wanted to be in there just to record you guys for 3 hours, I could do that. And then the speech thing we've just agreed is First Amendment protected. It doesn't, the speech doesn't disrupt you guys. So we just have to be clear. Part of why I do this is it seems like you guys are untrained on the way this works,
Well,
and you're public servants. So it's about education, not confrontation. But I like it to be right. So it's not about your policies you have established, because they're not laws. We only have to follow the laws.
As the sergeant explained, there is, and you said it's a gray area. I appreciate that. Because
not a gray area like that.
There are different. Well, that's what the sergeant used. So there are different. This is a school campus, right? And this building does sit on a school campus. And this building, as we have separate buildings within that school campus, and we oftentimes do have students that actually enter this facility. So just so you understand that, just because it's a school district office, there's also times where students are present. And so that's just important to know.
And that would be up to the individual.
With the law, the school grounds.
Right. And it specifically says
ambiguous language.
Yeah.
Okay, Bay fam, let's go ahead and stop that right there. And let's examine the penal codes that could possibly apply in this situation. The officer is wrong. The language in these penal codes is not ambiguous. And there's even grounds for dismissal if a penal code is vague and ambiguous in nature. But that's an argument for another time. Let's go ahead and examine Penal Code 626.8 of the California Penal Code. I'm not going to read it word for word, but in essence, what this penal code says is anybody that goes on school grounds and your presence creates a disturbance or disruption for school, and you remain on school grounds after being asked to leave, and you're not there for a lawful purpose, then you're guilty of a misdemeanor. But as we examine the other part of this code in subsection C, it starts to define what lawful business is. We won't go over that, but you can read it here. And then if you look at C3, it defines what a school is. And it says that a school must have grades kindergarten through 12th grade present at the building that you're at in order to count as a school. In this situation, I am at a building that's a district office, so this penal code does not count. We can also examine subsection E. Subsection E says, this section shall not be utilized to impinge upon the lawful exercise of constitutionally protected rights of speech or assembly. Now, this is talking about your First Amendment right, and it also covers media or press, which we are because we are there to gather content for news purposes. So this penal code does not apply. It is also not ambiguous in nature, as the officer says. He is incorrect. They cannot arrest you if you're there exercising your First Amendment right. Okay, Bay fam, let's take a look at another penal code that could apply. California Penal Code 627.2. No outsider shall enter or remain on school grounds during school hours without having registered with the principal or designee, except to proceed expeditiously to the office. Now, I'm not going to read the rest. You can read it as it's on the screen. But what this says is you have to go directly to the office when you step on school grounds in order to register. It doesn't define in the penal code what registering consists of. There's another part to this, and we'll get into that right now. Penal Code 627.1 that defines what an outsider is. If you look at section A7 from Penal Code 627.1, it says a person who comes within the provisions of section 1070 of the Evidence Code by virtue of his or her current employment or occupation. Now, keep in mind, my current employment or occupation is a journalist. I am a reporter. I am reporting on my interactions with public officials as well as other things. So this penal code doesn't apply to me. Now, we can even look right here on this article written by the First Amendment Coalition that talks about this very penal code. In this article, it clearly says that if you are a reporter and you are there at a school grounds, a school district office, recording for news purposes, then this penal code doesn't apply to you and you are protected under section A7 of 627.1. You are not considered an outsider as a reporter, as a journalist, somebody there they're recording for news purposes. Now keep in mind, I never go to schools where children are present. There have even been school district offices that are inside of high schools and middle schools that I just don't go to because they're inside of a school, even during the summer. But if we wanted to, we could. Since I have been doing these school district employee conduct checks, I have gotten many emails showing me many foul things that teachers and school districts and superintendents and principals have done. So we are doing more and more of these investigations, but we are covered under these penal codes. Now, Bay Fam, let's go ahead and take a look at Penal Code 627, which basically is the beginning of Penal Code 627.1, 627.2, all the way up until California Penal Code 627 ends. And if you look at this penal code, it is stating why these penal codes were even made. We go down to a paragraph at the end of this penal code, and it very clearly says, it is also the intent of the legislature that the provisions of this chapter shall not be construed to infringe upon the legitimate exercise of constitutionally protected rights of freedom of speech and expression, which may be expressed through rallies, demonstrations, and other forms of expression, which may be appropriately engaged in by students and non-students in a campus setting. So if you look at it, none of these penal codes can apply to my situation because I am very clearly there to exercise my First Amendment rights. These penal codes cannot be used to impinge or infringe upon my or your First Amendment rights. This officer is incorrect. He sees this language as ambiguous, but it is not. It is very clear. The First Amendment applies in this situation. It is a constitutionally protected and guaranteed right, and it protects us from any government overreach or censorship regarding what we can report on as press. Now, this officer is clearly trying to appease these people. He's clearly trying to enforce their feelings. He understands that they don't want me there. He also doesn't seem to understand that they don't have a choice but to allow me to be there, and I have a right to be there. And that's an issue, and he misled these people, or his department misled these people. Either way, I have a right to be there. And on to the next topic, just so some of you know, we don't have to say we are gathering content for a story every single time we do an employee conduct check or First Amendment audit, whatever you want to call it. Merely using those words does not give you your First Amendment protection. The First Amendment already gives you the protection of press. If you're there for news purposes, I could literally stay silent and still be protected by the First Amendment. Anyways, let's go ahead and get back to the video, Bay Fam.
Yeah, I mean, I would fight that all day, man. It doesn't work like that. Because this is an administration building. Like, you can even see there's a road that separates the school. So whether it's all administration buildings are school grounds because they're for the school district.
So the example I would use for that is the bus barn, where kids do get dropped off in this area right here. And so therefore it's a separate building, but kids do come and go from that particular area. Just like
yeah, but it's not about coming and going.
The doctor said, kids do come and go from here, not all the time, but at times.
Yeah, I believe it says where classes are held 0 through 12. But anyways, yeah, do your thing, man. Germs, I don't want to have to wash my hands there. But yeah, so I mean, we can argue it all day. I'll be back many a times, and maybe we'll get the chance to do that. But, the bottom line is, it's one, free speech. Sure. Second, the right to free press. We can record in there. Sure. Onus is on them, and that's pretty much it. I mean, other than that, I don't have any gripes, as long as they understand that. But if I come back, like today, it was like, hey, you can only be in this one small area, and you can't say, I think I said or something. And it's like, no, that's not the way it works. That'll keep me here for hours just to literally prove the point again. And I don't have the time today, so I'm out of here. So anyways, take care. I'm gone. I'm going to let you guys leave, and I'll be on my way. All right. So it seems, I thought the police were a little bit better informed, but it seems like this sergeant is still like, well, it's great. No. They need to be better informed about the way the laws actually work. Now here comes another officer right here. Yeah, they need to be better informed about the way the laws actually work. Hey, can you give a message to Lyles for me real quick? One thing I forgot to tell him right now was we were talking about the school grounds penal code 627.1, 626.8, I believe it is.
Okay.
And we were just going back and forth whether this was school grounds, and I forgot to tell him that he should look that penal code because it says in there it doesn't apply to people conducted in constitutionally protected activities. So I forgot to say that. He walked away. I got to get out of here. I don't want to stay. So that's about it, man. Thanks, Peterson? Peterson. Cool. Yeah, have a good day, bro. And thanks for what you guys do, huh? All right, that's that. I'm out of here. I have to do. I can't stay. I literally wanted to leave. Luckily he showed up in time. I wanted to get the hell out of here before he even came, but I stayed around for him, and now I'm out of here because I have to get the hell out of town. This is pretty much it, and like I told him, we'll be back many times, and